Hi, my name is Emma, and my business is Be Unstoppable, which interestingly, Kate helped me craft 4 years. It's nearly my fourth business anniversary. So, Kate helped me craft my initial message, and the work that I do in the world is helping women in HR be sustainably unstoppable, which really means having their biggest impact in the world without compromising themselves or their health or their families and the things that are important to them. When I first started working with Kate, it was because I didn't really have an idea of how to package the work that I was doing. I had this ground plan of coaching women, and yet the women that I thought would flock to me, because I was now ready to do that, weren't actually flocking to me. Who knew? So it was all about creating kind of the key messages of, yes, my business name, my business strapline, but also I think getting over some of the like ick that you get when you're first starting out in terms of putting yourself out there on social media. Like, how do you do that in a way that feels good to you without really worrying about what does everyone think of me, and what about the people I used to work with, and all of that stuff that you go through when you're first starting out on your own business. Over the course of 4 years, there are so many things to celebrate, because each step is progress. So that one of the, thinking back again, one of the first things that Kate helped me with was writing a talk. I was invited to talk on a women's network. So that was my first speaking opportunity. So that was a celebration, because I had a talk that I had crafted and I delivered that. And along the way, each thing is worth celebrating. But I think the the thing that probably is the biggest thing that I've done is the HR Big Meet, which is an event. It was started off with the membership that I run. It was the women in the club, it was their idea. But year one, we had 150 women in the room. And I think that the reason that is such a celebration for me is because it's accepted, like the people in the room accept me entirely as I am. Like, I show up on stage as me. Granted, it's actually probably an amplified version of me, like even more amplified than I ever could have imagined. But to have a room full of people accept you for that, yeah, for being yourself is like an amazing feeling. And I've done it a couple of times now. I'm about to go into my third one. But it's working with Kate she's given me the nudges along the way where I've gone like, I'm going to back out of this. I'm not going to do this. So it's been her little nudges in the background that have made that possible. And that's, yeah, definitely a big celebration for me. Of course I'm welling up. I can't talk to you without welling up, can I? Jesus. Yeah. I had a year-long journey with Kate through her Rise program. That was the most recent time that we worked together. And initially I approached Kate to help me craft my wording for the very first HR Big Meet. Because I'd known that she'd help me with that talk right at the beginning. So I was like, I know someone who can help me with my words. And then she was. And it was the support that I got was a mixture of like coaching sessions as well as VIP days. So I spent kind of a whole day in Kate's presence and her magic, working on different elements of me, the business, how I showed up on stage. That was the main VIP reason. But through the coaching sessions and the conversations that we have, like, it's definitely, there's some kind of magic in the work that like Kate does in taking words like I'm saying now and just making them make sense, and then making them also relate to the people that I want to work with. So she's got a really good way of just, yeah, I feel like I talk a lot of nonsense. But then Kate manages to take that and turn it into something that's like, yes, that makes complete sense. Yes, Kate completely understands me and what I'm trying to say and how my audience are feeling. And then just turn it into like complete brilliance on the page and the stage. I was approached by someone that I've been connected with a long time. A large part of my marketing, for people who don't know me, is that I record TikTok videos. I do audio, like lip syncing to videos on TikTok that I then post on LinkedIn. And they're normally really sarcastic, and they have some kind of like two fingers up message about working within HR. And a guy that I've been connected with a long time, he messaged me, he said, your TikTok then was absolutely hilarious. I'm running this event. I've got this idea. I don't know what you're going to think of it, but what about you come and do a 5-minute skit at my event? And I'm the kind of person that goes, yes, and then I work out how to do it afterwards because it sounded brilliant. And why wouldn't you do that? Like, have some fun. And of course, this was at the time when I was also working with Kate, and I said, I've been offered this skit to do. What on earth? How am I going to do this? So that formed one of our VIP days together. I was writing this 5-minute skit. It wasn't just the writing of it, though. It was like taking the ideas, obviously getting them down into a format and a structure, and whilst retaining my key message as well, which actually isn't like a funny message, but it's like, how do you get a serious message with comedy? And then perform it. And so Kate had these ideas of like climbing over obstacles, because we were talking about 5 minutes, and yeah, working in HR is a bit tough. So yeah, I could be climbing over chairs and climbing over obstacles and all things like that. In the end, I didn't go with the chairs because it was a bit difficult, only because it was difficult to organise with the audience. But I did end up wearing like prop hats on stage, which, I mean, I don't know what people thought of it, but I had a really nice time. So, no, do you know, that's not true, because I do know what people thought of it. Some people didn't like it at all. There's an image that I share of a guy in the audience who did not smile once, which is hilarious to me. But I did get messaged by one woman who said to me, I'm experiencing what you were when I shared my message of how difficult I had found working in HR. She messaged me to say, I'm finding that now. Thank you for sharing that. And like, can you help? So for me, that just shows you can show up however you like on stage. And if you just impact even one person in the room, even with silly prop hats, then that's the main thing, really. When you're sharing your message authentically, the right people will hear it and they will resonate with it. That's my biggest learning so far. I've always had it in my mind that I wanted to earn more as a self-employed, like, business owner than I ever could working in the corporate world, because as a self-employed business owner, I have the freedom. So freedom for me is a really big consideration. But when I first started working with Kate, definitely the money aspect was the thing that was kind of the most challenging. And like, Kate quickly called me out on that, which is absolutely right to do, and told me really the structure of, you need to be looking at your money really regularly, checking what's coming in, and let's set a target as well. And the target that we set at the beginning of working together, at the beginning of our year together, was £62,000, because £62,000 was a realistic amount of money that I could no, six, I think it was about 60 was a realistic target that I could earn in the corporate world, doing the kind of work that I could do in the corporate world, being a HR, whatever. So we set the target 62,000, because then you're going to slightly beat what you could probably get in-house. So I was like, oh my goodness, that's really daunting. Never achieved that in this whole time that I've been self-employed. Don't know how I'm going to do it. but let's do it. Let's set it as a goal. And then, so we did, and that was our goal. And we referred to it regularly. And as Kate told me to, I was regularly checking my account to see what I was earning and what was coming in. And then this year, I actually got an accountant to do my like accounts for me at the end of the year, and my income was £79,000. So not only did we beat that target, we like proper smashed through it. Did I tell you I won an award?
No.
I won a Brave Award, right? And the reason that I'm mentioning that is because in my acceptance speech of that award, acceptance speech is like a few words, but in this room full of women that was brought together by my brand designer, I won a Brave Award, which was really really meaningful to me in terms of what I want, what I choose to be, so that other people can also be brave. Like that is my main goal, really, is that people are brave in the pursuit of what really is really important to them. And in the acceptance speech of that, I said, you know, I don't want my daughter to ever grow up thinking that she's not good enough because she's been made to feel that way by like the world. And she's a constant driver for me in terms of how I show up. And I just think constantly pushing myself in the way that I do, setting myself goals, just shows her that when you put your mind to something, like anything is possible. And I don't mind actually what she does educationally, or how much money she earns, or where she works, or, you know, I just want her to do what she loves and feel that she's having an impact as well. So that for me is, I mean, what a better testament to how when you are yourself, you can not only feel supported and have great people in your corner, but you can also earn money doing it. Because I think that's not the norm. That's not the normal narrative, that unless you, like in the corporate world, unless you fit in this box, you don't earn the money, you don't get the promotions. Whereas I hope what I'm demonstrating to her is that you can follow your passion and what lights you up and still like make a load of money if you want. I think the impact of the work that I do is I'm constantly, I have doubts pretty much all the time. Like I can't often go to a session with Kate without like having some kind of mind gremlin that she will talk me through and help me out with. But I'm constantly now getting validation of the work that I'm doing in the world. And it's not that I require that validation anymore so much. I do a little bit. But even just yesterday, someone told me that the event that I created in May this year was unlike anything that they'd ever experienced before, and it was testament to the space that I create, the vulnerability with which I show up that allows other people to be vulnerable, and that they are still experiencing the ripple effects of that even now, which they've never experienced before in an event. And then there are coaching clients who tell me, you know, who leave jobs with nothing to go to. There are people in my community who do exactly the same because they feel supported, because they feel capable and that they're going to be okay. And sometimes I'm like, well, what have I really done? But then that's just part of me not really owning, I suppose, what I put out in the world. If you're thinking about working with Kate, then my recommendation is 100% yes, do it. Kate has a wonderful way of taking your words and turning them into something really powerful, both on page and how you deliver them verbally to people too. She also has a brilliant way of helping you get out of your own way when it comes to how you show up for people. So if you're looking for someone who can help you be really authentic and do your work in your way, safe in the knowledge that you're going to attract the right people for you, then Kate is 100% the right person to work with.
So good.
It's so
So
true, though.
good.
It's so true because you've just got such a magic way of like structuring. I don't know, just taking the stuff that comes out my gob and then going blah, 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 and then making it brilliant. That's it's just as well as creating that, like, but being robust with it as well. So you don't let me shy away, or you haven't let me shy away from things that I have the potential to be great for me, which is important and like has been the game changer really for me. So I found Kate to be really intuitive. I think working with Kate consistently over a period of time, she's either like really got the measure of me, or she's just really curious. Either way, it works really well. So I think Kate will notice the patterns of my behavior that are like keeping me blocked. So several times I've said to Kate, I'm not going to sell that. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to do that. And she's like, oh, really? Why? Why? And managed to, through questioning, and not even like really direct, awful question, just in a very like, oh, this is really curious how we might find ourselves here kind of way, kind of helped me understand that it's probably some kind of resistance, some kind of fear that's holding me back from doing the thing that is potentially going to have the biggest impact for me, like in this year's event, the Big Meet, selling into my Amplify Your Impact program. I was not ready to do that. I backed out of that. And then ultimately changed my mind as a result of Kate's curiosity around that. Yeah. And that impact, the impact of that program now is five women joined me. Clearly there's an income benefit from people actually working with me, but we're coming to the end of that program now, and all of those women are just showing such amazing developments, and in terms of how they're viewing themselves, in terms of how they're talking about themselves, in terms of the things that they are and they aren't tolerating. And again, it's that ripple of, if I'd have never talked about Amplify Your Impact on stage, if Kate had not pushed me to reconsider, she didn't push me to do it, she pushed me to reconsider, allowed me to come to my own decision. If that had not happened, I had not talked about it on stage, then there wouldn't be a woman who's just been made redundant about to start her own business. There wouldn't be a woman who's about to start a new role in a company that's much more aligned to her. There wouldn't be a woman who is talking about her work much more visibly on social media and therefore having her own ripple effect. There wouldn't be a woman who's helping us get more jobs and helping us understand finances within our work. That those things wouldn't have happened. They might have happened, but they would have taken longer as a result of them, coming and working with me. So